Good morning. I'm Felicia DePaula, Program Development Specialist with the New Mexico Economic Development Department. The Rural Efficient Business Program is a partnership between EDD, New Mexico State University, and the New Mexico Manufacturing Extension Partnership. The program strives to assist rural small businesses and agricultural producers in New Mexico to reduce energy consumption, increase profits, and explore ways to implement renewable energy systems. I'm joined by John Winscott, Economic and Energy Diversification Coordinator with MNERD.
Let's not accept utilities as utilities. Let's rethink how we think about utilities. And then secondly, let's take what everyone says is a disadvantage, the location of this place, and let's actually flip it. So that the location is not only not a disadvantage, it actually becomes the selling point for what we're doing. So in tackling that first one on utilities, within a couple of weeks of me being here, I went to go visit with Luis Reyes at Kit Carson, who, and Kit Carson, a lot of your viewers probably know this, not just here in New Mexico, but really nationwide. They are respected as real innovators in the way they have transformed their energy portfolio. And so Luis and Kit Carson were planning on building 30 megawatts worth of solar arrays in their service area, and they were just thinking about where they might want to put them. So I made a pretty strong pitch, as did John and a lot of other members of our community, to say, hey, we have a campus, we have land, this is a great place for you to consider locating that array. And then to their credit, they saw the potential in this spot. It's right at the edge of their service area. And I think, and I hopefully Luis would agree with me on this, I think he saw the potential that I saw, that the solar array could be the spark for a much larger education and economic development initiative here for the region.
So this tax credit passed in the 2020 legislative session, and it got up and running in July of 2020. And so the tax credit, it is an individual tax credit, and it provides a 10% tax credit of up to $6,000 for the installation of a solar system. So businesses can install, but the actual credit goes to the taxpayer and not to the business. And so since we just finished a tax season, we have some statistics we can share, which are pretty exciting. But you do have to keep in mind that it wasn't a full year since it just got started in July. So it's just, almost a half year of data. Okay. But we processed a total of 2,189 tax credits, which is huge, and it's actually a new record. While this is a new tax credit for the solar market, we did have an old tax credit that sunsetted, and that 2,189 tax credits are more than the last 2 years combined, which is really impressive.
I think the main one is given everybody in the shop has the ability, as long as they go through a certain chain, of coming up with ideas and then being flexible enough to try those ideas. If it's just me, it's one mind, I'm stuck in a box. If I get some of those, I get those guys involved. I've always felt that helps and improves all kinds of efficiencies, because they're going to come up with ways. They don't want to be doing things for a long time. They want to make it as quick as possible. And so I think that's where most of our big changes and processes have been, allowing them the input and the knowledge that it's okay to fail. Because some of the ideas, didn't work worth a hoot. But a lot of them, and I would say at least 80 to 90% of them, help and increase our efficiency. And we'll time it. We'll do time studies, see if it helps not, and figure it out. And we don't do it just one time. We give it a few weeks or even a month to see if it will help. And we're always looking for ideas, because right now we are so clustered. We have to move 10 items to finish off one item. So that's one of our main challenges.
I would say my experience started, I really became interested in renewable energy in and out of college. It's really great here in Taos. Actually, there is a partnership with UNM and I believe Cornerstones of Santa Fe, and they're working together to get renewable energy courses for free to a lot of students here in Taos. So that's kind of how I really started my education about renewable energies. And it's really just adding to this dream I have outside of Red Willow Center too, to create my own kind of market garden internship that just runs off of renewable energy. And working here at Red Willow Center, they have their own solar system, which I think works directly with the water pump in their well, and just energizes all of the water systems that we have here. But yeah, I am still working on getting my family into renewable energies, and actually the entire Pueblo.
In the hemp industry, planning, any industry, right? Planning is key. You got to have a really good plan in mind. And with our setup, I mean, automation in farming is gold. You know, farming is another labor-intensive avenue. So the more you can automate things, you know, they have feeders, dosatron feeders that can take up your nutrients for you and put them out at correct amounts into your field for you. This way, you don't have to mix these things manually, go in person by person, making buckets worth of stuff for each plant, and you have a couple thousand plants in an acre or so. But yeah, a strong plan is always good.
Good morning. This is John Linscott of Energy, Minerals, and Natural Resources. Today we're with Sam Cobb of RMS Foods, and we're taking a tour of his facilities. Good morning, Sam.
Morning.
Morning. So could you tell us a little bit about the energy efficient improvements you made?
Well, everything we do is based on trying to conserve energy. This building is a building within a building. The exterior has R30 insulation in all of the walls and ceilings, and then the interior panels that you can see are all polyurethane foam panels that have a R40 insulation factor. So as you can see from standing here, this particular room we maintain at 45 degrees during the manufacturing process. And of course we have another storage area, freezer, that we maintain at -5 degrees continuously. So we do that in order to ensure low bacterial counts with the product, and temperatures are critical to us. One of the first things that we've done as technology has improved is the addition of LED lighting. In the old days, people used what was called a sodium halide light, and it put off a tremendous amount of heat. So we have replaced all of the lighting fixtures inside the plant with LED lights that generate considerably less heat, create a much brighter work area for our employees. And so that's been a major renovation that we've done over the last few years. And then also, as we'll discuss later, we have installed a solar collection system on the roof of the building.
I'm Jalal Rastigari. I'm from the College of Engineering, New Mexico State University. The college had the energy efficiency program for the last 22 years. So it's not something new. We had it for many years. Mostly what we are looking for is very comprehensive program. It's called pollution prevention, energy efficiency. So it's not only energy, we are looking at the pollution. We are very concerned about the environment. And so we are looking for water, for the waste, for the chemicals. Energy is part of it as well. So we are looking for everything in the facilities. That's what we are doing. So that's the program started about 22 years ago. We so far have helped many businesses in New Mexico. Our recommendation suggested more than $10 million in the last 5 years. If the businesses, they implement our recommendation, they can really save money on water, on energy, on environment. And the best of all, they don't get fined by EPA because we get them exhaust, so they know what's wrong and how they can fix it. So that's the.
Well, I'll go real quick.
Gotcha.
With our native background, it's really important that we do be good stewards of the earth, of our resources, of our own health and bodies. And the way that we incorporate that kind of culture is to look at what do we want to develop. Of course, costs for renewable energies for any enterprise, conversion to it is going to be significant. But one of the major things is we're an outdoor grow. Campo de Oro is an outdoor hemp farm. And because of that, we are significantly utilizing less fossil fuels because we're relying on, the cleanest energy source there is, the almighty sun. As an outdoor grow, we benefit majorly from that. And of course, by doing that, we're allowing the plant cycle to do itself, to do its magic. We also utilize the most efficient drip system at maximizing energy efficiency by maintaining moisture levels, and of course water levels is going to be a lot less. And I don't know if you guys can kind of see it in the background, but through the rows, those moisture levels are drip fed, drip irrigation. And because of that, there's a lot less actual energy that has to be used to be pumping water, like a lot of other conventional agriculture has to do 24/7 all day long. Anybody familiar?
So by accident, I happened to be at a meeting up in Santa Fe through local government division. And one of our partners from the federal agency, Economic Development Administration, came in and visited with the COG directors. That led to a conversation about him having some additional dollars to provide to Council of Governments for doing some renewable energy efforts. So as a result of that, that led to securing funding from the Economic Development Administration in the amount of $250,000. That $250,000 required, if I remember correctly, was a 20% match. But by the end of the end of the contract or the agreement with the Federal Economic Development Administration, we had more than doubled the match to that particular program. Actually, we exceeded 55% match, and we were only required to 20%. And the way we did that was by partnering up with P&M and using some of their quick saver rebate programs. And so the whole initiative, one of the initiatives of that grant award was to take a facility in each one of the local governments and do an LED or a light audit, and then go in and do the improvements to show what the reduction of cost would be for that particular local government, whatever facility they chose. We had everything from city halls to library.
The capital outlay for what I really deem as two of the cornerstones which you all spoke to, which is our energy consumption, because we're all electric here because there is no natural gas out this far. We're in a rural area, hence the rural economic development. And our waste stream is limited us in terms of our growth because we're on a commercial septic system. And so what we've always had a mindful eye on how we can insert new technology to make ourselves more efficient so that we can grow more, to reduce the amount that we spend on energy, to reduce our energy consumption. However, prior to COVID, it seemed that often these resources that we really needed to execute were out of our reach from a capital perspective. And what COVID has really taught me and the business is that there's a lot of resources out there, and from programs such as yours in economic development to SBDC to USDA extension services. COVID really impressed upon me that actually that's not really that as far out of reach as you think. And COVID, frankly, we hit the pause button for 18, 20 months. So it kind of gave you some time to, and we had to reach out and try to find those resources to make it through that period of COVID. So I think it helped us really kind of step back and get our hand out in front of our face to realize that priority wasn't as far out of reach as we thought.
The energy providers, no matter where you are in the state, whether it be natural gas, electricity, and some of these other companies that are looking for opportunities to partner with industry on solar installations and those types of things. I think those opportunities, and I think the Economic Development Department provides linkage to some of those types of things where they can contact their local utility providers, and there are some programs available. through those savings. Potentially, I would think that there's probably some opportunities for financing based on the savings that you might incur. And then, of course, right now, one of the reasons that we did the solar is there are substantial tax credits that we are able to take advantage of. And so that reduces the capital cost as well. So there's several programs out there and I would encourage our local, our listeners to first contact their local. So the state would certainly be receptive to helping them find a path.
How can we, Felicia, John, all of us, take this model and present it to other educational partners, your peers, UNM Valencia, all throughout Luna College, all of them throughout the state? How can we try and get the message out where people can imitate this model for future success?
No, thank you for the question, Peter. I would say this is the start, right?
Right.
Your broadcast helps. I think it's about us getting the word out. And by the way, I think it's about both sides of it. It's about us sharing the things that worked and the things that didn't.
I think Neil really hit it on the head. I think that folks will be, of course, that wide scale adoption of renewables. I think that we're doing really well, and we're going to see some major changes and shifts in the next couple of years. Similar to that, even though the car market is a little bit slow right now, we're anticipating that around 2026 through 2035, there's going to be some huge changes that are being driven by the auto industry, the types of vehicles that are being offered. Of course, predominantly electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles are going to be much more affordable, and there'll be many more options available to people. Of course, I think in addition to what Neil said, I'm hoping that we start to see some changes in our built environment and even how we work. I think the pandemic has really shown us that working from home and working remotely is an option for many people. And hopefully with that, with hybrid programs, with the ability to continue to implement that in our lives, that is also going to impact our ability to be able to reduce our transportation emissions while also having an improved quality of life.
Awesome. Well, as we've said before, New Mexico State is a partner of ours who conducts energy assessments for rural businesses throughout the state. They currently have a contract where they can audit restaurants and breweries. So if you are interested in that, please feel free to contact me. We're having an error, so there we go. So feel free to contact me. This is my contact information, or Jalal, at 575-646-1510, and we will get an assessment set up for you. We also partner with the New Mexico Manufacturing Partnership. They are a team of manufacturing engineering experts that are available to assist manufacturers overcome barriers in growth. They can help with everything from training to audits and assessments as well. Please feel free to contact Jennifer Sinsaba at 505-262-0921. And finally, I know that the question does come up of how the Rural Efficient Business Program works. So let me share a little bit with you. Where do you start essentially? And that is signing up at our www.nmruralbiz.com website. You'll be able to identify your needs, whether that's resources, financial support, connection to assessments, whatever that looks like. That will then connect you to me or Joanna Nelson, and we will then connect you to financial resources through NMSBA, through MEP, USDA, who has their REAP grant out that I want to drop on right now. The deadline is March 31st. So any businesses interested in that, please feel free to reach out to me, and I will connect you with Carlos at USDA, and we can help get that completed. That is the conclusion of our Rural Efficient Business Program interviews for the year. Thank you to everybody who has joined us, and we look forward to being out and about next year as we start our new interview series. So thank you everybody who joined us over the course of the last 12 months, and have a happy new year and happy holiday. Thanks again, John.